You think you're awake, but you're not. You think you're free, but your strings are still moving in someone else's hand, someone inside you. Every reaction you have, every time your chest tightens or your voice trembles, something ancient within you is speaking. The unconscious is not a silent abyss. It's a storyteller, whispering through symbols, emotions, and accidents. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Most people never meet that truth. They drift, half asleep, blaming the world for what their own mind has created. But when you start to see your patterns, your jealousy, your fear, your desire, as reflections of your buried self, something extraordinary happens. The illusion of control shatters. You realize you were never truly weak, just unaware. Beneath the surface, there's a vast mind sculpting your destiny from the shadows. Meet it, and you reclaim your power. Fear it, and you stay its prisoner. The choice is yours. This is where awakening begins, not by chasing light, but by turning toward the dark and saying, "I see you." Comment below, "I see the unseen within me." The shadow hears those who are willing to look. Number 2, the mirror beneath the skin. They told you to look outward, to chase meaning in applause, validation, control. But the unconscious doesn't speak through the world outside. It speaks through the world within. Every person you meet, every moment that shakes you, is a reflection, your own face wearing 1,000 masks. The lover who abandons you, the enemy who humiliates you, the friend who betrays you. They are symbols, archetypes, shadows cast by your inner landscape. The more you deny them, the more they return disguised as fate. Jung once said, "What you resist not only persists, it grows stronger." The unconscious feeds on avoidance. It thrives in denial. It becomes the silent sculptor of your suffering. But when you dare to face it, to stand before the dark mirror and whisper, "Show me what I've hidden," the illusions crumble. You begin to see that you were never broken. You were simply divided. Half of you ruled by light, half by night. And only by uniting the two can you ever become whole. This is the art of integration. The quiet rebellion against every false identity you've worn. Freedom doesn't come from control. It comes from surrendering to awareness. When you know your darkness, no one can use it against you. When you understand your shadow, manipulation loses its grip. The unconscious is not your enemy. It's your forgotten ally, waiting for you to remember who you are beneath the noise. Look within, not away. There lies the mirror beneath your skin, gleaming with truth and terror. And if you dare to meet its gaze, you'll never be controlled again. Comment below, "I see my mirror and I do not look away." Because the one who faces their reflection becomes untouchable. Number 3, the kingdom of the shadow. Deep inside you lies a kingdom unruled, a realm where forgotten emotions sleep like ancient gods. You were taught to fear that place, to keep it locked, to pretend the storm wasn't brewing under your calm surface. But the unconscious never dies. It waits. It builds empires in your dreams, writing its warnings in the symbols you ignore. Every nightmare, every moment of rage, every sudden sadness that has no name, that's the shadow knocking at the gates of your awareness. Jung said that the shadow is not a monster to be slain, but a part of the soul that demands recognition. The more you deny it, the more power it gathers. The more you look away, the more it rules you. To walk into that kingdom is to enter your own underworld, to meet the parts of yourself that society told you were unworthy, unholy, unacceptable. But down there, in the darkness, lies your raw vitality, your instincts, creativity, and power. You don't conquer the shadow, you kneel before it, listen, and rise as something new. That's what transformation truly means. The king is not the one who conquers others. The king is the one who conquers the chaos within. When you embrace your darkness, it becomes your strength. When you see the hidden ruler, you reclaim the throne of your life. So descend. Don't fear the abyss. It is your initiation. It's where every false crown falls and only truth remains. Walk bravely. because this is the path the unconscious demands. The path where you meet yourself fully, finally, freely. Comment below, I walk into my shadow and I rise as my own king. Because when you claim your darkness, you no longer serve it. You become it, consciously, sovereign, untamed. Number 4, the war between the masks. You've lived wearing masks so long that you've forgotten the weight of your real face. The persona, your public self, is the mask you crafted to survive the world. It smiles when you're breaking. It agrees when you want to scream. It keeps you safe in the light, but suffocates you in the dark. Beneath it, your true emotions twist, unheard, unseen, waiting for permission to exist. Jung called this the tragedy of modern man. He becomes what the world needs, not what his soul longs to be. You perform normality, but your unconscious rebels. It bleeds through in anxiety, in depression, in sudden bursts of anger you can't explain. That's the war between the masks, the one you show and the one you hide. Every lie you tell yourself sharpens the conflict. Every time you pretend to be fine, a part of you dies quietly beneath the performance. But here's the truth. The persona is not evil. It's a tool. It was born from necessity. You created it to navigate the tribe, to protect your tender core. The danger begins when you start believing it is you, when your reflection becomes your prison. Real freedom begins when you can wear the mask consciously, knowing it serves you, not the other way around. The unconscious mind doesn't want you to destroy the persona. It wants you to see through it, to understand the actor behind the role. When you do, something shifts. The mask becomes transparent, and through it, your authentic self begins to breathe again. That's why awakening often feels like madness. It's the soul tearing through costumes, demanding truth. It's messy, painful, and beautiful. You're not losing yourself. You're meeting yourself. You'll cry for the roles you've played, for the years you spent pretending, but from those ashes, something real will rise. The moment you stop identifying with the mask, the world loses its grip on you. No opinion, no judgment, no manipulation can touch you anymore. You become fluid, able to move through life without being owned by its roles. Comment below, my mask serves me. It no longer owns me. Because the awakened self wears masks with awareness, but bows to none. That's the art of liberation, the soul remembering its own face beneath the illusion. Number 5. The dance with the shadow lover. Every soul carries a secret lover hidden in the dark, a magnetic force that pulls you toward people, patterns, and obsessions you don't understand. Jung called it the anima or animus, the inner opposite, the soul's counterpart, the unseen face of desire and meaning. It is the mirror of your missing half, the echo of what your conscious self refuses to embody. When you meet someone and feel that haunting familiarity, that electric connection that burns through logic, it isn't love at first sight. It's the unconscious recognizing itself. You aren't meeting them, you're meeting the part of you that has lived in exile. And that's why it hurts, that's why it consumes you, that's why you can't forget them even when you try. They awaken the parts of your psyche you've buried beneath duty and fear. But the tragedy is this: most people mistake this divine mirror for the person standing in front of them. They cling, they chase, they project their unlived soul onto another and call it destiny. But what they're truly seeking is themselves. The dance with the shadow lover is both revelation and ruin. It will strip you bare until you realize that no one outside of you can ever complete what you refuse to claim within. When you withdraw your projections, when you see that the beauty, wisdom, or power you idolized in them was always yours, you begin to reclaim your soul. That's the alchemy of the unconscious, turning obsession into understanding, dependence into integration, illusion into wholeness. The lover was never the goal, they were the doorway. When you finally see them not as salvation but as symbol, the spell breaks. You stop craving possession and start embracing reflection. You no longer chase what you already contain. Love becomes sacred again. Two beings meeting not from emptiness but from overflow. So honor the ones who awakened you, even if they broke you. They were your shadow's messengers, guiding you home. Comment below, I no longer chase my reflection, I become it. Because once you embrace the shadow lover within, you stop begging for what was never lost. You walk with your own completeness, and that, my friend, is divine power disguised as peace. Number 6, the descent into the abyss. There comes a moment in every awakening when the light turns against you. The illusions fall away, and you find yourself standing at the mouth of something vast, cold, and infinite. This is the abyss, the place where everything familiar dissolves. The ego trembles here because it cannot survive what comes next. The unconscious begins to speak in symbols so raw that they burn through meaning. You may dream of drowning, of falling endlessly, of being devoured by darkness. Do not mistake it for punishment. It is initiation. The abyss is not there to destroy you. It is there to strip you of everything that isn't truly yours. Jung called this process individuation, the journey toward wholeness, and it demands descent. Every hero, every mystic, every soul that has ever awakened has fallen first. The fall is sacred. It is the gravity of the soul pulling you toward your center. In this descent, the world above loses its meaning. Success feels hollow. Relationships crumble. Your old ambitions die quietly in the dark. You think you're losing everything, but what's really dying is your attachment to illusion. The unconscious takes what you cling to most and burns it in its black fire until all that remains is what's real. It's terrifying, yes, but it's also liberation, because only in the void can you discover what cannot be taken from you. When you have nothing left to defend, you begin to see. You start noticing how silence hums with presence, how solitude feels like a throne instead of a prison, how your pain becomes a doorway to depth. The descent will test you. It will whisper lies, telling you you're broken, forgotten, cursed. But listen closely, and beneath the noise, you'll hear something else, the quiet heartbeat of rebirth. The unconscious isn't trying to erase you, it's trying to reveal you. You are the seed buried in the dark, cracking open so that something larger can grow. The pain you feel is the pressure of transformation. Stay with it. Don't rush to escape the void. Learn its language. In time, it will teach you that darkness isn't the opposite of light. It's its cradle. When you finally emerge, you won't be the same. You'll walk differently, speak differently, see differently. The world will feel transparent, and control will lose its meaning. Because once you've faced the abyss within, no fear outside can rule you again. You will have discovered the indestructible core, the silent watcher who has always been beyond both light and dark. Comment below, I descend without fear, for I am becoming whole. Because the ones who fall consciously do not perish. They rise from their ruins, crowned in awareness. Number 7. The birth of the inner alchemist. When the descent ends, something begins to stir, a faint pulse, deep and rhythmic, like the heartbeat of the earth beneath your skin. You've faced the abyss, lost your masks, mourned your illusions, and somewhere in that silence, a new self begins to breathe. This is the birth of the inner alchemist, the one who no longer runs from darkness, but works with it. The unconscious is no longer your prison. It becomes your forge. Every fear, every wound, every obsession becomes material for transformation. Nothing is wasted. The alchemist knows that gold is born from decay, that the soul's brilliance is not found in purity, but in wholeness. Jung said, "In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek." And the alchemist understands that cave now. You've been inside it. You know its smell, its taste, its silence. You know that the monster you feared was your own power, misshapen by repression. And now, instead of running, you take the monster's hand and lead it into the light. That's transmutation, the fusion of shadow and self into something radiant, raw, and utterly real. You begin to notice that pain no longer enslaves you, it instructs you, triggers become teachers, conflict becomes initiation. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to show me?" That question changes everything. Because the unconscious never punishes. It educates. It sends you experiences precisely designed to reveal where you are still asleep. Every betrayal uncovers your dependency. Every rejection unveils your self-abandonment. Every humiliation exposes where you've given your worth away. And when you finally see the lesson beneath the wound, the cycle ends. You've decoded the language of the soul. The alchemist's wisdom is simple yet devastating. Nothing external ever truly controls you. The world only mirrors your inner state. The moment you shift within, the reflection shifts without. But the inner alchemy is not about perfection. It's about relationship. You don't purify yourself by erasing flaws. You sanctify yourself by embracing them. The fire of transformation burns hottest when you throw your contradictions into it. The saint and the sinner, the victim and the tyrant, the dreamer and the cynic. When you can hold all of them without judgment, you become vast, limitless, sovereign. That's what real power feels like. Not dominance, not certainty, but integration. You stop seeking control because you found balance. You stop seeking approval because you found truth. You become unshakable, not because life no longer storms around you, but because the storm has found a home inside you. This is the secret the unconscious was always trying to teach. You are the vessel and the flame, the crucible and the gold. To live consciously is to become the alchemist of your own being, to turn fear into wisdom, pain into purpose, shadow into strength. The darkness you once fled now kneels before you, loyal, tamed, and luminous. Comment below, I am the alchemist of my own soul. Because once you claim that, you stop waiting for miracles. You become one. Number 8, the rebellion of the soul. There comes a point when silence turns into fire, when all that inner alchemy you've been doing stops being private and begins to change how you move through the world. That's when the soul rebels, not in anger, not in chaos, but in unshakable truth. You begin to see that everything society taught you to value was designed to keep you asleep. Comfort over meaning, approval over authenticity, obedience over awareness. The unconscious mind, once feared, now whispers with fierce clarity. This world is not neutral, it shapes you to forget yourself, and that realization is the beginning of the Great Rebellion. Jung warned that modern man suffers not from lack of means, but from lack of meaning. You can have everything, status, validation, security, and still feel the quiet scream of emptiness beneath it all. That scream is your soul remembering that it wasn't born to perform, it was born to awaken. The rebellion of the soul begins the moment you stop chasing illusions of control and start creating from inner freedom. You no longer move to impress, you move to express. You no longer beg to be chosen, you choose yourself. Every unconscious chain that once kept you small becomes visible, and once it's visible, it loses its power. You see through the manipulation of culture, media, relationships, even your own habits of thought. And in that seeing, you detach. Not coldly, but consciously. You still engage with life, but no longer as a slave to its conditions. You realize that the system of the world feeds on unconsciousness, on people reacting, obeying, and fearing their own depths. But you've been to the depths. You've faced your monsters and found them sacred. So what can the world possibly threaten you with now? Failure, loss, isolation. You've already faced worse inside your own mind. The soul's rebellion is subtle but unstoppable. It's the quiet refusal to lie to yourself ever again. It's the courage to say no when everyone expects yes. It's choosing stillness over distraction, solitude over noise, truth over comfort. You start to feel that strange paradox Jung spoke of, how individuation makes you more yourself and yet more universal at once. You become distinct yet connected. The masks fall, and in their absence, you find something that feels like eternity looking out through your eyes. The unconscious mind stops being a battlefield and becomes a current flowing through you, alive, intelligent, mysterious. You no longer fight it, you follow it, trusting its strange compass. It leads you not toward safety, but toward reality, and that at last is where freedom lives. But rebellion comes with loneliness. You will walk paths others fear to tread. You will outgrow friendships built on avoidance. You will confuse people who only understand masks. They'll call you detached, strange, intense. Let them. They haven't yet met their own abyss. Your calm will threaten them because it reminds them of what they've denied. But don't shrink back. You are no longer here to be understood. You're here to embody understanding. The unconscious mind, once a hidden ruler, now becomes your ally in the art of liberation. It sends synchronicities, those impossible coincidences that confirm you're walking your path. It floods your dreams with symbols of rebirth, wings, serpents, fire. You start seeing patterns everywhere, and instead of fearing them, you feel awe. You realize life isn't random, it's reflective, and the more conscious you become, the more reality bends toward you. That's not magic, it's resonance. The world becomes mirror and movement, responding to your vibration, your integrity, your awareness. This is what it means to be free, not untouched by life, but untangled from its illusions. You no longer live reactively. You live intentionally, rhythmically, like the earth turning with the sun. The rebellion of the soul isn't loud. It's quiet, grounded, unstoppable. Comment below, my soul obeys no master but truth. Because once you begin living from the depth of your own unconscious, control becomes irrelevant. You've already found the only authority that matters, the one within. Number 9. The marriage of the inner worlds. After the rebellion, something softer begins to unfold, a peace that doesn't depend on winning. The fire within you cools into clarity, and the war between your inner opposites begins to end. The unconscious and the conscious, once divided like night and day, start to speak to each other in harmony. This is the sacred marriage of the psyche, the mystical union Jung called conjunctio. It's not the death of duality, but its integration, the sun and moon sharing one sky. You've walked through the underworld, faced the shadow, danced with the anima, dissolved the masks, and rebelled against illusion. Now you arrive at the center, where opposites merge into wholeness. The unconscious no longer controls you from behind the curtain. It stands beside you, a partner in awareness. You begin to live from both worlds at once, the grounded logic of the conscious mind and the mysterious intuition of the hidden one. Together, they form a single rhythm, the heartbeat of a self, finally whole. In this state, life no longer feels like a series of battles to survive. It feels like a living dialogue. You sense meaning unfolding in every coincidence, wisdom shimmering in every mistake. You no longer categorize experiences as good or bad, but as teachers revealing different shades of your evolution. The old notion of control dissolves completely. You stop needing to dominate life because you've realized you are life and life is you. The unconscious is not a stranger anymore. It's your inner cosmos, a universe of symbols speaking through intuition, emotion, and dreams. When you listen, creation itself responds. This union also changes how you love. You no longer project divinity onto others or demand salvation from them. You meet people soul to soul without masks, without manipulation. Relationships become mirrors of growth, not prisons of need. You begin to love without ownership, speak without defense, and walk without fear of loss. Because what can you lose when everything you meet is a reflection of what already lives within you? The alchemy is complete. Awareness and instinct, shadow and light, love and power, merged into one living consciousness. And yet, this integration is not perfection, it's balance. You will still feel anger, sadness, and doubt, but they no longer possess you. They pass through you like waves, and you remain the ocean. You realize the unconscious is not something to conquer, but to converse with eternally. Every day, it reveals another mystery, another fragment of yourself returning home. This is freedom, not an escape from darkness, but peace within it. The soul no longer seeks meaning outside itself. It is meaning embodied. You walk through the world knowing you carry an entire cosmos behind your eyes. Comment below, I am whole, and I walk with both my light and my shadow. Because once the inner worlds unite, control is no longer necessary. You've become the balance the world has forgotten, the living bridge between heaven and hell, chaos and creation, dream and reality. Number 10. The return of the self. You've descended, faced the mirror, met the shadow, and walked through fire. Now, you return, not as who you were, but as who you truly are. This is the final revelation, the self, the center beyond the masks, beyond the opposites, beyond even the need for freedom. The self is not an idea or identity. It's the silent witness that has watched you since the beginning, through every illusion and every awakening. You don't find it, you remember it. The unconscious was never your enemy. It was your teacher, pushing you back toward this center, again and again, until you saw that everything you feared was simply your own reflection in disguise. When you live from the self, you move through life differently. You no longer chase purpose, you radiate it. You no longer seek truth, you embody it. The world still trembles, people still project, chaos still spins, but none of it controls you anymore. Because you've seen the hidden order behind it all, the dance of shadow and light that exists to awaken consciousness, you realize that liberation was never escape, it was recognition. Now you walk the earth quietly powerful, calmly untamed, a being who understands that to master the mind is to embrace it fully. You are not light against dark, you are the flame that needs both. Comment below, I am whole, and I cannot be controlled. And remember, if these words stirred something deep within you, something ancient and familiar, like subscribe and turn on notifications, because your journey into the unconscious has only begun. Together, we'll keep descending into the depths, not to be lost, but to remember who we were before the world told us who to be. This is the shadow self, and you are finally awake.